these videos, things will not be interesting. This, I save it. This, okay, this one more. That's it. Yeah. Save. Okay, done. Screen is visible. Am I right, Chetal?
Yes, sir.
Okay, Rajan, you are. I'm ready.
Okay, so let's start. Good evening, everyone. For this session of today's last session, we have Professor Saha from Mechanical Engineering Department, IIT Delhi, and he and his team will be discussing about robotics, which I am sure will be very interesting to all the students. Professor Saha, over to you, please.
Yeah, thank you, Rajan, and thanks for this opportunity. And thank you, all the students. And I've been told that you are class 12, and so you must be aspiring for JE to come to us next year. But more than that, no, something I wanted to share with you. No, even though in school, if you can make your studies more interesting, and this is few next 20-25 minutes, I will be trying to explain how things can be made interesting. So my title is Robotic Competition Knowledge Based Education in Engineering. That means how you can take part in robotics competition and can have fun at the same time learning. So I call it an innovative teaching approaches, whereas our conventional teaching approaches are the blackboard, whiteboard, LCD projectors, and studying before the exam day and next day vomit in the exam papers and get some grades. No, that's not a nice way of learning in my opinion. No. So first I wanted to show you the two robots which were built by our students over several years, and we put it during the Janmashtami festival of IIT Delhi in 2019. Just watch the first video. So the red one we call it Romeo 4, and the other the background, the black one, we call it Romeo 5. Because the generations we have developed. Okay. So you could see that how well it has pulled the crowd, and the basic purpose of this demonstration to the Compass community here was twofold. One fold is whatever our students are doing, how reliable and robust are they? Are they get scared looking at the people? Actually, it is more than scared. Now, if it is working for 5 hours, 10 hours, whether it will go bad or not. That is one. And the second thing is for the campus community. They would know that, okay, if IIT is the premier institute and if it is doing so many advanced technology, which are those technologies? Can I see them? So to bring in front of them. And in short, I call it a ROCB, a concept, an innovative teaching concept. And the purpose, I repeatedly tell these aspects, as you have seen 83rd since 2007, almost like 15 years ago, I started this series. And the reason is overcome unemployability. If you read this Economic Times, you can see in Google also after my lecture, the general quality of India's engineering graduates is exactly where it was a decade ago. On top of a shocking series of revelation is the finding that 80% of Indian engineers are not fit for any job in the knowledge economy. Now, India being one of the youngest country in the world, and if their engineers do not fit for job, then what will they do? So they will do lots of bad things. So we need to protect the society from those. So if, in my opinion, if the teaching has been made interesting by hands-on experiences, so even if no, they are bored with the job, they can always start a company, on their own. So the first few slides, will be full of Indian robot companies, because in India we are very fond of foreign products. And if I ask you this question to all the students who are listening to me, that what mobile you use, are they made by Indian companies? Which car your parents use, are they made by Indian companies? What refrigerator you use at home, are they made by Indian companies? No, so most of the things, you will see that you buy the foreign products, right? Similarly, for the Indian robot companies, because I know that if you want to know about robot, you will talk about Boston Dynamics, dancing robots and stuff like that, no? So we know everything other than ourselves. So here is an attempt to show some of the Indian companies. The PR Robotics is a company started by our student, and the robot which you'll just see is based on a competition IIT Delhi have been participating and through a BTech final year project. Okay, so what you have watched basically, 2-3 key points I wanted to mention to you. One is it has avoided obstacles on its own. That was then autonomous mode, means automatically program was getting executed. In the second, it has gone to a station and then it has stopped. And after that, it expected interaction mode. That means somebody will give some signal to that thing, press on switch or something like that. So you saw that the student was picking up the box, and after picking up the box, he was giving a little push. And while the push means the intention was indicated to the robot motors were on and it started turning. And at the end, you have seen that when there is no activities going on around the robot, it was coming back to the original station. So all things are done using what is called the sensors. The various sensors are there, and then the actuators, which are basically the motors. Okay, so that was called collaborative robots. A robot otherwise would be considered as an autonomous robot, means once you do the programming until the task is ended, no other action needs to be done. But here, during the task execution, you can come and intervene. That's why it is collaborative robots, and such robots are very much needed for the country because we don't have to displace human being from the job. So collaborative robots are very important for the country. Next, I will show you a flying robot, which are called the drones, and you will be able to get a glance of our IIT Delhi, even though you are not physically here. And it was made by a company called Botlab. So what you saw is called the drone, and another name is quadrotor because it has 4 rotors. Rotor means rotating shaft, so that the 4 blades are there, 4 rotating, which is creating the what we call the lift force, so that it can go up just like a helicopter, principles. Some more robot companies name in the country. Grey Orange is very famous. When you order books to Amazon, Flipkart, so mobile robot like this is by Grey Orange. They go to different racks and read some barcodes and then gives the packet to the counter for dispatch. Milagro company makes a floor cleaning robot now for your mom, and this is a window cleaning robot for cleaning the window panels in the big high-rise offices. There are defense and robots. For example, this is for bomb disposal robots made by Defense Robotics Laboratory in Pune. This is another flying robot similar to the drone video you have just seen it. And this company is created by students from IIT Bombay, and their first of this robot was shown in the 3 Idiots movie, and the company's name is Idea Forge. These are called industrial robots, which are used in industry to pick and place certain objects. Like as you can see, some object is picked up and placed there, or do some welding job. And this is company name is MTAB. It's a Chennai-based company. This is the company earlier used to be called TAL. Now they call it Bravo. This is by Tata Group. There are other varieties of robots. As you can see, this is kind of what we call the parallel robot, even though this platform is not exactly parallel, but somewhat parallel. And this called the legs. These legs push up and down this edge, and the whole platform can take any rotations or any translation. So the flight simulators are based on similar principles. And this is by a company called Newgenics and in Maharashtra. And the concept was developed by one of my ex-PhD students who is a faculty at ISM Dhanbad, which is also an IIT at present. And this is a walking robot made by another defense laboratory in Bengaluru. This is called Center for Artificial Intelligence and Robotics. This is underwater robot, autonomous underwater vehicle developed by Central Mechanical Engineering Research Institute in Durgapur. It can go to 150 meters under the sea level, under the water level. And the purpose of such robot is to find out, sea life, what kind of animal, and then some resources if they're there. If some accident happens, find out if what is stuck. This is another robot made by another company in Bengaluru, Systematics India Limited. Now, talking about robotics, if you wanted to develop those robots, or if you wanted to study more detail, not that as a school student or as a first year, second year student, you need to study all those things. But if you wanted to do a good design in future, understand its basics, so you majorly study these 4 subjects, as far as the robot system is concerned. And these are put in my textbook, Introduction to Robotics. These are used third year level onwards. This is the first edition and this is the second edition. So first you study about kinematics, means relationship between motions. One is a motion is position, velocity, acceleration. For example, this is the motor which gives some motion to this arm. So if this arm rotates, so it will push this thing up and down, and then this thing up and down. So total, if these are three motors giving some motion here, or rather six motors, then how much motion happens there? So the mathematics or the coordinate geometry to be used to find out what is the position will happen here. That is the study of kinematics. So that's the first part. Then the dynamics, that means relationship between force and motion. No? So if you give this motion and you wanted to move at certain speed and acceleration, how much is the torque needs to be provided by the motor? So that is the second part, dynamic. And control means now any motion you provide to achieve certain task, it will not achieve. Just like your parents are controlling you. If they ask you to write a paragraph, you will write only half a paragraph and it will tell, oh, I'm done. So parents have to check that you have done it or not, and then again to apply more pressure on you. Similarly, robot who does the same thing like you do it. No? The last part is a simulation and animation. So there, without designing or without building a robot, can you predict the behavior of it? No? During my this session, after my lecture, there will be one real demo of a robot. And after that, one student, Hetal, will show you the simulation. So he has not built that robot, but he will show you that how a mobile robot to be used in a hospital environment he simulated. And that gives a good idea about how to plan. Now, to study some of this kinematics dynamics, we have created this software called RoboAnalyzer, which is a priceless software. You can download from this website, www.roboanalyzer.com. And it has, you can build your own robot. For example, this is your arm, upper arm and lower arm. And some arbitrary values are there which you can play. And then you tell the joint value is this is called joint, this is called joint. So move 0 to 180 degree and 0 to 90 degree. That means this value is 0 to 180 degree and this value is 0 to 90 degree. And I press something called F key. And once F key is done, then if you say animate, so this is the way it moves. So you can make it and see what happens. So 0.2 or 0.5, so this arm got longer. So that way one can play many things, and there is something called virtual robot. So virtual robot is interesting because it shows about 16, 17 of those industrially available robot. You can choose which robot you want, and then as if you are moving the robot with a small box, a controller kind of thing, as you do your toys. So you can, it's virtual toys for you in a way. And once you go to higher level of your studies, then these are the things you will understand. Now this is for the robot structures, okay, but there is something called mech-analyzer, which you call mechanisms. All the machines which you see in real life, they use some kind of mechanisms like this. So this is something there, but if you wanted to drop down some of the common thing you will find. So something called steering mechanism, means in the car there is a steering mechanism. So you can play how the car mechanism functions. So this is the car mechanism. So you move the front wheel and you can see that how things move. Then you can go wiper mechanism in your car. You have wiper mechanism, how it functions. So these are the examples you have taken mostly what are taught in your undergraduate mechanical engineering students in a course called Theory of Machines. But some of the things, like for example, what is the gear mechanism, no? When you start building a robot, even in the school level, you come across using some gears, no? So here you see how gear mechanism. So you can change some of the parameter. There may be many such tools available in the internet, but I wanted to give you pride to become proud Indians, so that you use more of Indian goods, Indian software, Indian books, and what not. Okay, so now I wanted to introduce to a competition by participating which, you learn many things. This is called Robocon. It is held every year in India, organized by Doordarshan, and the winning team represents India in the international competition. It is only open for the undergraduate engineering students. So this is 2019, what I'm going to show, and it was held at IIT Delhi. So it's rather 10 minutes long. I will not show you 10 minutes. Maybe after some time I'll stop. Okay, so what I'm going to tell you here is this book is called Rockbee, and this can be ordered online from pothi.com. It costs about 250 or so. So there we share the experiences of our students taking part in this competition. So this book is based on the story of 2010 competition about 10 years ago. And this book tells you the fun and the learning goes on through participation and interacting with your friends, with your professor, what you learn and what you don't learn. No? And there are comments by students of class 8 and 10 who enjoyed it. So if you read and if you give feedback, it will be very good to us, to have the modified version in future. Okay, and so 2022 international competition of this series will be held in India. 2019 I have showed you, they are available in YouTube. You just have to go DD Robocon 19. 20 was held online, so online videos are also there, and this year it will be held in July 30th. For the time being, it has been planned. After participating in such robotic competition, it's great fun. But after that, it is important that our engineers, the young budding engineers, know that in industry how things should be working, which means a robot in a competition works for 3 minutes, but in an industry, day and night, continuously it is working. So one has to know what is the reliability in these robots, or what is the robustness, means if there is somebody comes and pushes a little bit, will it be completely broken? So to test those things, that part of the skill, we started a series called RoboMuse, a robot for amusement. Actually, that was idea, but actually RoboMuse is the name of a Greek goddess, and you can find out what is the meaning. And so this is the first version. Just watch.
Press the red button. Enter passcode. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Press red button again.
So this was in 2008 and 9. We put in our student activity center completely unattended, as you have watched it actually. And 2019, this has become a product. So 11 years almost, right? So this is important. Whatever you do, you must wait 10 to 12 years in order to see certain useful outcome for the society. You know? So, but in our style, we try to leave our domain every 2-3 years. For example, when you are in a school, now you must be interested in physics. Now, after 3 months, you go to do some chemistry. As per the learning is concerned, anyway, things are getting exposed. But you have to slowly prepare towards what is your interest area. Not that school is the right time, but school, college, but that attitude has to grow slowly, so that by the time you graduate and you go in the workforce, you must be more or less deciding that, okay, yeah, this is of my interest, maybe 1 or 2 at the most. And your attitude should be such, you should be such a good, engineer or a person that company will come and give you the job. By the way, so this time you have seen it is a line following, as a baby, a step that time, and now you will see in this video what happens. So this was used as a autonomous robot, no line following, and that too as a security surveillance in our lecture hall complex. So we tested it, and that was RoboMuse 4, and the 5 we have seen as the collaborative robots taken by the company. So with this, I come to the conclusion. So I have shown you many Indian robot companies and how robot competition can help as a fun robotic. And I have shown you RoboMuse projects, which has finally, yielded to a product. So 12 years. And so with this, I would like to acknowledge all our spouses, students, and staff, and their kids. And thank you for your attention. These are my details, my website, email, and the mobile. You are free to call between 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. or send an SMS or message.